All right, you guys, welcome. We are going to do a Google drawing. To get started, you could be on a blank tab or in your Gmail, and you're going to go to the waffle icon up in the right-hand corner. When you click on that, we need to get to Google Drive. And on Google Drive, I start by going New, More, and there should be a side drop-down menu to get to Google Drawings. It's the only way I know how to get there. If you've got a clever new idea, you go ahead and let me know. So we need a new Google Drawing. And when it opens up, it's going to open up to the blank canvas. So remember, a blank canvas are these gray and white checkerboards, and it means this image is currently transparent. If I put a picture of a heart on here, it's going to have no background. So we always need to, in a drawing, start by giving ourselves a background. Today, I want you guys to create something that looks kind of like a sunset, a beach sunset. You're drawing along with me, and you can also embellish and add your own details, choose different colors, whatever you want. Let's go ahead and start by titling our drawing up in the file name so that we don't lose it later. First and last name, and we'll call this one Sunset. I'm going to go ahead and start with the sky. In general, when we're working in Google Draw, we want to work back to forward. Otherwise, you spend a lot of time messing around with moving the layers of your shapes. This drawing today we're doing is also a shape drawing. We are not pulling images from the internet. So if you were up at Insert Image, that's not what we're doing. We are going to build our own shapes and our own colors for the whole project. At the top of the screen here, you'll see there's a shape icon. If I click on that, it gives me some options. Basic shapes that I could choose from, and of course, you can shift them and change them a little bit. Arrows, these are called call-outs, which you might use if you're trying to give someone a speech bubble. And equations, so maybe more if you were doing a diagram for your math or science class. But for art, we're going to be sticking with shapes and another tool I will show you in a minute. So I'm going to start with creating my sky by grabbing this first rectangle right here. When I grab that, notice my mouse has changed to a little plus symbol. I can click and drag that and create a rectangle anywhere. I don't want that, I'm trying to make the sky. So I'm going to, look at my mouse, it changed to the arrow. It often switches back to the pointer or the select option. I wanted a rectangle, so back to shape, choose the rectangle. I'm going to fill my sky by grabbing at the very top corner, and I'm holding my mouse down while I drag this over until I hit the other edge. And that looks pretty good right there. When you finish a shape, you'll know that it recognizes the shape because it automatically colors it in this sort of light blue color. Now I'm trying to do a sunset, and I think that's kind of boring. I don't want it to just be sky blue. Blech. So I'm going to go ahead and change my color with this little paint bucket right here. It says fill color. Notice this has a blue line around it right now with little blue squares. If I were to click somewhere else and then I tried, my fill bucket has gone away. That paint bucket disappeared. I need to be inside here, and that needs to be highlighted with those little blue squares. Now, let's see. I could pick yellow, and now I've got sort of a yellow warm sky as the sun goes down. But I think that's kind of boring, and I would like you guys to play with creating a gradient. I'm going to go back here to my fill color. Here's your basic options. You can even create custom colors. I'll go with one of my basics though for now, and I'm going to switch over from solid to a gradient. Gradients come lots of different ways. They come with a radial gradient, or they come with what's called a linear gradient. I'm going to click the linear one. I think that looks right, and I still like that yellow color, so I'm going to stick with that. Now notice how the color has changed from a deeper yellow down here to a pale yellow up there. I'm happy with that. I'm going to click out of that box. Now, it's a sunset, so I think I'm going to go ahead and put a sun in my sunset. Looking back at the shapes, oh, perfect, a circle. I'm going to grab that circle. You can make it a humongous circle. You could even have it going below the horizon line there. It's up to you. I kind of just wanted to do a small sun. If you mess around with this, you'll end up with an oval. You can stretch it into different round shapes, but I really am just trying to do a nice perfect circle for my sun, so I'll leave it like that. Gosh, that's a little bigger than I wanted. So I can grab this corner right here with my mouse, and I can drag it in and make that circle a little bit smaller. Okay, I'm good with that, but that's a blue sun. That is not going to work. So I think I'm going to go with a really light yellow, because you know how the sun is almost blinding? It's almost a white color when you actually look at it. Perfect. Okay, so now I've got my sun, and I could drag this without changing its shape, as long as I have these 4 arrows. Do you see how my mouse now looks like 4 arrows making a cross? I can drag this, whoopsies, do you see what I just did? I dragged my rectangle by accident. Undo. Make sure I have the right thing grabbed, and then I'll try to move that around. Where do I want it? I think I want it right there. Okay, happy with that. I'm going to click out. Now let's get down here. Right now this looks a little awkward because it's a transparent bottom. I'm going to give it some water. Back to our shape. Shape, rectangle. Grab that corner, and I'm going to click and hold that mouse down and drag all the way over to the other corner of my canvas before I let go. It automatically filled with a light blue. I don't like the light blue. I'm going to go up here. I think I want like a teal color, maybe something like that. Ouch, that's kind of burning my eyes. Let's see. I'm going to go with a custom color. Something in that teal range. So now it's popped up when I clicked on custom. It's giving me this little thing here. So this is my pure color where this circle of teal is. It's just too bright for me. I can move towards the gray, or I could move it towards the dark area. So I can change that teal. And you'll notice inside the circle here, here, and way up here, it is showing you the exact color that it will be. I kind of want something brighter. I just didn't want it to hurt my eyes quite so much. Go with something like that. I'm going to click OK. Okay, I'm happier with that color, but I'm not stopping there. That's still boring. The ocean doesn't look like a flat rectangle of blue. I want a gradient again. Now I'm going to get my color. Whoa, what is this? When you click on a custom gradient, it's giving you gray. I don't want gray. I want that pretty teal color. So right here on this left side, for my lighter color, it's showing me light gray, and it's also showing it to me right there. I don't want that color, so I'm going to go ahead and change that. Oh, look, my custom color that I already created is sitting down at the bottom under custom. Sweet. So I'm going to grab that. But now this is what it's going to look like. I'll just hit OK so you can see it in the picture. It went from a pretty teal to like a blech, like someone polluted the ocean. No, thank you. So I'm going back here, and I'm going to get in my gradient section, and I'm going to move back to custom. Okay, so it took me right back where I was. That was my left color, my light color. I'm going to click on this little box here. It shows me that my color there is gray, a dark gray. I don't want a dark gray. I want to change that color. And I'm lazy. I'm just going to go with what I can find here. I think maybe this. I'm going with this one. Ooh, that's kind of pretty. It gives me a little preview, and it shows me how it's going to fade from that teal to the dark blue. I'm happy. I'm going to hit OK. Much better. Let's see. Let's pause for 1 second here. Do you guys see how there's a really thin black outline around each of my shapes, my circle and both of my rectangles? That does not make for good art, and we'll talk about that a lot. I'm going to click in each one of these shapes. So I just highlighted the sun. I'm going to go up to this tool right here, border color. I don't want a border color. No, thank you. I want to make that transparent. It's like saying I want it to be invisible. Boom. Do you see how my sun no longer has a black outline? It's just the shape of color. Go ahead and hit all of them. So as you work along here, we want to turn that border into transparent so that there isn't a black line around it all. Much, much better. Okay, new tool for you guys to learn. Next to my shape button is this angled line thing. I actually don't want the line. We're not working with lines. We are working with shapes. But so far, we've been stuck with just these shapes, right? To get any shape I want, I'm going to go over here where that weird line is, and I'm going to drop down the menu. So I hit the little arrow. There is something called a polyline. That means I can have a multi-side, multi-angled shape that I'm going to create. So click on that. Again, my little mouse has turned into a plus sign. We're going to start adding shapes to this drawing. I've decided I want you guys to try adding sun rays. Now we can add cheesy sun rays or we can add really cool sun rays. It's up to you. I'm going to go ahead and click here once. As I move my mouse, it's automatically drawing a line. I'm not holding the mouse or anything. I'm going to go right to the edge of my picture and click, and it made another point. I'm going to keep that line straight at the edge of the canvas as much as I can. I'm kind of guessing here, where do I want it to go? It's like a big thick sun ray. You'll see, you'll understand what I'm going for here in a second. I'm going to click there, drag it back to the sun, click. Now all I have is a bunch of lines. It's not done until you drag right back to your starting point and watch what happens. As soon as I clicked there, recognize that I created a shape and it filled it the blue that it always likes to fill it. Why does it fill it that? I have no idea. I don't want it to be blue. It's a sun ray. I'm going to go ahead. Ooh, and you know what? I want it to have a gradient. I'm just going to choose from the menu here. I like this. I think I'm going to go with this orange color for my sun rays. I'm going to go ahead and repeat this. So I'm going to make sure I'm on my Polyline tool. Whoops, I don't need that. Go away. See, it automatically switched me over. Do you see how it's highlighted the select, that little arrow? We don't want that. Don't let it make you do that. Okay, again, I'm just going to repeat that. Click, drag without holding, click. And whatever looks good to you, if you don't like it, just click undo at any time. Right back to the sun, click, and it won't be finished until I've gone back to the beginning. Oh, and how handy, it filled it the same color I was already working in. I'm going to go ahead and do a few more of these. Click, drag. I'm going to take it right to the horizon line so it looks like the sun rays are going down beneath the ocean. Click, click, and click, and it knows it's done. Let me add a few more of these in here. Keep this thing interesting. At this corner here, I think I'll hit each corner until I feel like I've got something I like. Not done until I go back, click. And I'm going to squeeze one more right here. Notice again, I'm going to have to click at the corners of my canvas to fill in this random sun ray shape. Click, and it's not done until I've clicked back to the beginning. Ta-da! Okay, awkward looking. I'm going to switch here. I need to ditch these border colors. So let me get on my select tool so I don't accidentally end up drawing more lines. And I'm going to go in and say transparent border. I'm going to do it each time for each sun ray. And notice how much better it looks. The colors are much more vibrant without a black outline around them. And it looks a little bit more three-dimensional. Now, real quick here, I'm going to zoom in. If it lets me. Come on. Do you guys see how my sun rays look kind of weird? They're overlapping the actual sun. I want the sun to be on top of them. So getting back to my select tool, because if I keep hitting this, I'm going to keep zooming in. But I'm going to hit my select. I'm going to click on that sun again, and I'm going to right click. I right click, and I'm going to go to order, bring to front. That means bring that little circle forward so it's sitting on top. That's much better. Now I can go back to my regular size since you guys saw that. Now I want more details in this picture. This isn't bad, but you can't stop here. So you're going to continue with adding some more details. I'm going to, let me bring this picture down a little bit. I want to add a little reflection in the water. So again, Polyline, and you can make any kind of shape you want. You can click as many times as you want. One thing I've noticed as I work with the Polyline, I have to be very careful when I get to clicking. Sometimes I'm clicking too fast and it just makes, I think I'm going to keep going here. It makes, it gets confused. So be a little bit slow and a little bit meticulous. I'm going to make this really wide. And I'm just doing a zigzag line here because I can't really do a curve with this to create sort of a reflection in the water. Ta-da! And it knew I was done because I went back to the first point and it told me it's done because it filled it with the gray blue. Okay, first of all, this shape is a little bit awkward. I'm gonna go ahead and double click it. Whoops, not that, undo. Redo, I wanted this shape, I didn't want this. So I need to switch over to my select tool, my bad. So I'm on my select tool. If I double click, instead of having the whole rectangle thing around it with the blue, now I have a purple line that's right on the edge of my shape. And each one of these dots is movable. I didn't like how that was in here. This is too far out. I think I'll drag that over. This is a little spiky looking. Let me drag that in, which makes this look awkward. So you can sit here and adjust your shape as much as you want until you're happy with it. Anytime you do this kind of polyline shape thing, you can start having some fun with it and sort of fixing it when you think you're done, but it wasn't quite what you wanted. So each point I clicked turned into a purple dot. Now I've got that shape. I think I'm okay with that. It's still a little awkward. What are you going to do? Okay. I want to fill this, so I'm going to click it again so it's just got the rectangle around it. Up to the paint bucket. I'm going to get fancy again. Let's see. I think I'm going to create a gradient. And I want it to be a custom gradient. And I want my first color to be kind of a, let me think about this, kind of a yellow. So I'm going to hit the custom again. I'm going to grab something that's yellow. Whoops, I'm going to move this along here till I find something. I want it to be a warm yellow. So as I slid, do you see the difference in these colors? Keep it over in the warm section. And I'm going to click. It gives me a circle up here. It shows me what I've created. Do I like that? Not quite. Something a little less muddy. Getting better. I like that. Okay, so, okay. Now I just created a custom color for the beginning of my gradient. I'm going to bump over here to this dark gray square. Pick a different color there. And again, I think I'm going to go custom. So what do I want my custom color to be? I'm thinking in the blue range. So I'm going to slide this hue button along till I see something I kind of like, maybe in there. How about that? That's the color right there. I think I'm going to go teensy bit. No, not that dark. Maybe like that. Similar to my first color I created, I suppose. So maybe I'll go brighter instead of being so much the same. Okay, so that's going to be the color that right there. Hit OK. And it gives me a preview of what the color looks like, what it's going to look like when I do it. And I'm going to hit OK. If I don't like it, I'll just hit undo and try again. Ooh, that's interesting. I kind of like that. All right. So I've got a weird reflection shape in the water. And while we're here, I'm going to show you one more cool thing. To make this interesting, I can right-click that shape. No, it right-clicked the whole rectangle. I got to make sure I'm right-clicking the correct thing. Right-click that shape, copy. I'll click over here and I'm going to right-click it and paste. Now I got two of them. Interesting. Maybe I will adjust this gradient a little bit. I'm just going to grab a different gradient. That's an easy one. Okay. And I don't want it in the front. I want it in the behind that one that I made. So I'm going to move it, order, send backward. Why didn't that work? Oops, because I grabbed the wrong thing. That's why. I need to grab the one I just made. Order, send backward. Now I'm going to drag it around here. When you grab the wrong thing, just hit undo. I want that. There it is. Drag it around. Let's see if I can give kind of an interesting little reflection. Okay, I like that. I'm going to right click. I'm going to copy that and I'm going to do it again. I'll put it over here. Paste with my right click. Oh, see, look what I did. I grabbed the wrong thing. It's not a big deal. You just hit undo. It's going to happen to you guys. Okay, I want that one. I'm going to try one more time. Right click, copy. Let's see what happens. Right click, paste. There it is. Make sure I've got that movie tool happening here, and you can see the outline of the shape as I'm dragging it around. Now I don't want it on top. I'm going to order, send backward, please. Now I've got kind of an interesting reflection thing going next to it. So last steps here, take off that black border. Transparent, transparent, and there's one over here, transparent. Okay, I'm liking where this is going. It's kind of fun. I want you guys to add some shapes on the horizon to look like whatever you want. Mountain, volcano, hillside. So I grabbed the Polyline tool. I'm going to click. And this is where I always run into troubles. I tended to over-click as I was making my mountains. So I'm just clicking along here, making something looks like a mountain scene. You know, like on the horizon line, there's some mountains. And before I get in too much trouble here, I'm going to try to get down to the horizon line, and I'm going to take it all the way straight back, click, and it recognizes my shapes because it turned it blue. That looks weird. I'm going to go with maybe, what do you guys think? I could go with dark gray, dark brown. The sun is behind it, which is giving it a dark color, and of course turn off that outline, so transparent. You can continue now on your own. I don't want that. Why do I keep doing that? Sorry. I want you to try to add something else over here. So you could add another hill. You could try creating a palm tree. You can try using the shape button more. You can make random shapes and stretch them into different things. If I wanted to start creating a palm tree and turning those leaves brown and squishing the shape smaller, you could do all kinds of things here. So you know my expectations. I'll have them written on the PowerSchool page. And I want to see you guys playing with what you can do just using shapes and these tools in your Google drawing.